Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Evan and John, and you're listening to the Boomer and X Show.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to this latest installment of the Boomer and X Show. We're going to hit some more sports talk.
Yep, today is going to be a Sports Shorts episode. Today is January 19th, 2016, and our topics for today are we're going to recap what just went down in the NFL, then we're going to give you some picks on what's coming up in the NFL, talk about some Super Bowls 31 through 40, correct?
That is correct.
And talk about the new coach hires in the NFL and NFL success. So all NFL, because that's the only thing that's left as far as football.
As far as football goes, and we've kind of, been honest from the get-go that it was our quote sports was mostly going to be football. And as we're winding down, so I do want to say this real quick. As we are winding football down, we probably won't have a sports short next week. But then we will, in the week leading up to the Super Bowl, we'll have another one, and then we'll probably, for the most part, move back into talking about other topics other than sports. We won't leave it totally until next football season, but we won't hit it every week the way we have been.
Yeah, it'll be just kind of whenever we want to, just we'll all willy-nilly throw in a sports episode.
We'll probably hit the draft.
Well, the main reason we did this is because we didn't want to put the Super Bowl with the Oscars.
Right.
So we made a separate sports thing, and that's taking a weekly thing because games are played weekly. So
without further ado, let's recap what happened in the divisional playoffs of the NFL last weekend. I think
I'll start with the Kansas City-New England game.
Yeah. I picked Kansas City.
Yeah, see, I don't remember the picks, but I'm pretty sure I didn't do too good.
Yeah, well, I remember mine. I picked Kansas City, and
I picked New England on this one.
Yeah,
because they were at home and other reasons, and it was only a one-touchdown game. One thing I noticed is they just scored fast. I mean, they only had the ball 22 minutes, whereas Kansas City had it for 37. That's most of the game, and they just, it was first quarter. Kansas City got a kick, New England touchdown. Same thing, kick, touchdown, and then 2 touchdowns, and then New England got 2 kicks, and Kansas City only got a touchdown. Couldn't get it done. I believe there was I was about to say a coin flip. About to say something about the coin flip, but that was in the Carolina game.
Yeah,
but
that was in Arizona, Green Bay.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Look, a lot could be said for don't pick against Brady at home in the playoffs where he's 14-3. Sure, but
did you learn your lesson?
I don't know. There were 3. Certainly. Well, I didn't think I'd bet. I didn't bet on the game. I didn't bet on any of them. In fact, I haven't bet on a game all season.
Nice,
but New England and Brady. Obviously, they got it done at home. Now they have to go on the road, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The second game was probably first of all 4 games this weekend were 1-score games, and so that's an excellent weekend of football right there. The next game though went into overtime after Green Bay ties it up on another one of these Hail Marys by Aaron Rodgers, which was very comparable to the one that he beat Detroit with back in the regular season. I mean, the ball was in the air for like 65 yards, and he threw it falling backward. He threw it falling backwards. And then they So there's a coin toss. What are your thoughts on going into overtime? Right. There's a little bit of a coin toss.
I looked into it. There is no rule that the coin has to flip.
There's no rule.
So what the ref did was said, "Whoa, it didn't flip," because everyone was like, freaking out that it didn't flip. He says, "Coin didn't flip. I'm gonna reflip it." Now, the only problem I've heard that out of that was Aaron Rodgers makes the call based on what the coin's doing. Like if he sees a heads, he calls tails. So he called tails. Ref picks it up, says I'm gonna reflip. He's holding tails. So Rodgers thought he was gonna get to recall,
and he didn't.
He just flipped it. And so Aaron Rodgers, he knows he's not making excuses, but he says, sometimes it comes down to a coin flip. And
sometimes it comes down to your defense making a play.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this, because look, the NFL certainly wants the game to be as fair as possible, and you don't want things decided by a coin flip. And I don't think this was decided by a coin flip. But do you think that going down the road, because look, the NFL has recently changed overtime rules. It was just sudden death until a few years ago, and now it's sudden death if the first possession is by touchdown, it's sudden death then.
Yeah.
But if the first possession is a field goal, then it's not. Do you feel like it ought to go to each team in overtime has a chance at a possession? You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years or so?
I hope so. I don't think it will, because I think they're trying, this new change out for probably, I don't know, however long they try things out for, but it's, I don't know. I want them to go to college rules, honestly. I mean, that's kind of what I want to see, but just let them play till the winner emerges.
I don't ever see them doing the college thing where you have equal possessions and somebody just starts off at the 25. I don't see that happening. But I think each team gets a possession is probably where it's going to end up happening, whether it's 1 or 2 years down the road or further.
Touchdown or not. If they get a touchdown, you get a chance to get a touchdown. If you don't, then you suck. But
it was a great game.
Yes. Speaking of another great game, the Seahawks having to – all right, so we had an awesome half from – Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
They put up, I don't know what.
It was 30. Well, it was 31.
All the points they scored, 31
to nothing,
and then 24 in the second half. So I think Carolina just.
I think it was 31-6 at the half.
No, at the half it was 31-0. 31-0.
Okay.
And then third quarter they score. Seattle scores 14, and then in the fourth quarter they scored 10. So 24-31. Carolina did not score at all in the second half.
I don't want to make excuses for Seattle, but here's what's tough to do. To travel from Seattle to Minnesota, play in a 0-degree game, and then travel back to Seattle, and then travel all the way across the country to Carolina for the next game 7 days after the game. Again, not making excuses for them. They started out 0-0 this season and could have won home field advantage, but that's tough to do.
The Carolinas were playing like a Super Bowl team, and the Seahawks weren't.
But yet they made it a one-score game.
Yeah, they did, but I think Carolina was doing their thing where they're like celebrating on the sidelines like dummies and almost got caught.
Yeah. So, and it's never. By the way, it's never over at halftime. It's never over at halftime.
And I don't know if they were at halftime, but that's kind of something they've been doing.
They have been
pre-game. I don't want to call it pre-game, but before the game
is over,
celebration.
Yeah. And if you're up 31-0 with 3 minutes, it's fine.
Yeah.
With a half, it's not.
So then we got Broncos.
Yeah, this is the one that now I know we just. I know I wanted Pittsburgh, but
you said you go with your heart, but you want them to.
Well, I made my pick with my head, but I was certainly pulling for the Steelers. And with everything going against them, I thought they played well.
Oh yeah,
and they were driving for a potential game-winning touchdown. And
Brandon McManus earned his paycheck.
Toussaint.
Yeah, something like that.
Fumbled the ball.
Now here's where I think they failed the Steelers. Martavis Bryant led in rushing with 2 carries for 40 yards and receiving with 9 receptions for 154. And I mean, they had total yards, they had 396, which was 80 more than the Broncos.
Almost all of it passing.
But as far as rushing, they only had 85 yards.
And here's the problem, and then we'll move on to the next category. Here's the problem: as prolific as the Steelers' offense was this year with putting up yards, they ended up depending on field goals and settling for field goals quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be addressed For them to be a Super Bowl caliber team, that along with the defensive secondary has to be addressed.
Yeah, well, quarters 2, 3, and 4 were nothing but field goals.
I know, and that was indicative of the season in a large part. It was,
and then half of the season they didn't have a good kicker, so.
Well, they picked him up in Game 5, and by the way, Sean Sweezum, I hope he lands somewhere because I don't think he's getting his job back. You think
that guy's that good?
God, yeah. I mean, he was everything. He was everything once they got him in Week 5.
Well, so was Sweezum before he got hurt.
He was everything.
All right, moving on.
Upcoming. So we got 2 games left. We have the NFC Championship game, which is Arizona at
Panthers.
Carolina.
Yep. And then we have the
AFC
New England Patriots at the Broncos.
At the Broncos. Now, did you notice that the 1 and 2 seeds are what's remaining in both the AFC and the NFC? So there were really no surprises. The 1 and 2 seeds earned those positions throughout the year, and here they are meeting in the conference finals. Which one you want to take first?
Let's do New England and Broncos.
Okay. What's your pick?
Well, Broncos, and not because I just like the Broncos. They have the number 1 defense in the NFL right now, and the Patriots have Tom Brady's got some targets back, but I mean their offense is number 6 in the NFL, which doesn't mean a 6 can't go up against the number 1 defense, but there is that aspect of the game where all Denver really has to do is make more points, and that's how you win the game. I'm
going to go with New England, even though they are on the road, because how many times have Brady and Manning gone up against each other? A lot.
A lot, but also the rushing, New England's rushing is god-awful right now. And the Broncos are ranked 17th, so that's definitely better than 30th. And their defense is going to, I believe, pressure
Brady.
Tom Brady and win.
I picked against Brady last week. I'm not going to make the same mistake.
Okay.
So
let's see. The last 2 times they've played, the Patriots are 1 and 3, and the Broncos are 2 out of 3. 1 out of 3, and the Broncos are 2 out of 3. So, they met in 2015, November 29th. Broncos won that. Back in 2014, the Broncos got blown out 43-21, and then that same year, January 19th, the Broncos beat them 21-16. So that's the last 3 times they met up. They're clearly putting up points like crazy against each other, but I'm calling a 24-30 game, something like that.
30-24 Denver?
Yeah.
I'm not going to give a score. I'll just say New England. I'll just say New England. So
for the fact that you didn't do it last week.
Well, I tell you, the more I've looked at football, and I've probably looked at some aspects of football to do this show that I haven't looked at before, and all I see is wall-to-wall Tom Brady. Really,
it does kind of seem like he overcomes all the numbers and odds that I just spat out. So he just keeps defying.
I'll go with him.
Now the Panthers.
So now we've got 2 guys. First of all, now we're going from 2 guys that have been to a whole lot of Super Bowls to 2 guys that have never been in a Super Bowl.
This is my Super Bowl.
Carson Palmer versus Cam Newton.
This is going to be my Super Bowl game right here. And I want the Cardinals to win.
Is that your pick?
Yes.
Okay. This one's tough because I think Carolina's record, although obviously at 15-1 and spectacular, and Cam Newton's play, MVP worthy, and he should get it, they didn't play a lot of really good teams.
Carolina.
To get to their record. But they are at home. The fact that Arizona at home had to struggle to beat Green Bay concerns me. Now, I am pulling for Arizona, but I will say that I think Carolina...
I don't know if they struggled. I mean, they got a miracle Hail Mary.
Well,
and, I mean...
They went into overtime.
Like they were behind or something.
No, but I mean they went into overtime. Went into overtime, so anything can happen. You can lose a game that goes into overtime.
That's true.
So,
but the fact that they rallied and scored very fast, and rolled over that Green Bay defense, which this Carolina defense is, they're pretty. I mean,
They are good.
They're
They are good.
ranked 6th in the NFL, so they definitely can.
Oh, and by
get
the
at-
way, the 4 teams remaining, and I've heard it said for a long time: offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. And look what's left, and all 4 of the teams left are strong defensive teams.
Here's something I got to say to that: the Cardinals have a better defense and a better offense.
Than Carolina.
Yes,
Okay.
and the only reason I'm not going to say they have a better run game is because I consider Cam Newton part of that run game.
Well, yeah.
If you take Cam Newton out of the run game, the run stats, Arizona has a better run game.
If
too.
you quote take Cam Newton out, Carolina
doesn't have a team.
They're 8-8 at best, and they're not even in the conversation. I'm gonna go with Cam Newton. That's my pick, but I am pulling for Arizona.
Okay, and that will be. So I'm saying it's going to be Broncos versus Arizona, and you're saying
New
in
England
the Super
versus
Bowl,
Carolina.
and you're saying the total opposite in the
Yep.
Super Bowl. So if the Boomer Next Show will have 100% accuracy
We will.
once again on picks.
We will have somebody be right.
Okay, so before we get to, so we're going to do the Super Bowls 30 through 31. through 40.
31 through 40.
I have some facts on just Super Bowl in general. So
Okay.
the Super Bowl is the second largest day for food consumption in the U.S., with Thanksgiving obviously being the first.
Okay.
Now, on this Super Bowl Sunday, there are approximately 8 million pounds of guacamole eaten. To dip the guacamole, approximately 14,500 tons of chips are consumed.
I will consume chips. I will not consume guacamole.
Yeah, it's like snot.
You know, well, since you went there, I'll go here. I remember when my childhood dog used to eat grass to make himself
throw
throw up.
That's what it looks like?
That's what guacamole looks like to
So
me.
it looks like throw up.
I've dog throw up.
Dog throw up.
I've never tried it, and I
Okay.
never will.
Question for you. Is the Super Bowl the biggest sporting event in the world?
No,
What is?
some World Cup soccer bullshit.
UEFA Championship
Yeah.
League's final game.
Yeah,
Right?
and guess what my care level is?
About the Super Bowl?
No, about
Yeah, I know.
yeah. No, it's
2%. Every year there are 72 footballs used for the Super Bowl, and there are more than 700,000 footballs purchased for the NFL each year. And
72 footballs used for the Super Bowl.
For the Super
really?
Bowl.
Well, Tom Brady's going to have a hell of a time deflating all of those, isn't he?
I was wondering where that would come from. Jerry Rice, San Francisco Hall of Famer, has caught 8 touchdown passes in the Super Bowl. Guess who? Not who, but guess what this second highest is?
Probably 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, 3.
3. So 2 more. During Super Bowl XLV11.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a
Yeah.
doozy. 2 brothers were the head coaches of the opposing teams. This is the first time this has happened in Super Bowl and in the NBA and in the MLB or NHL. It is also the first time in any postseason game that all 4 major professional sports.
And that's the Harbaugh brothers, Jim
Yes.
and John.
And the Lombardi Trophy, given to the winning team of any Super Bowl team, weighs 7 pounds, 21 inches high, and is worth $25,000.
That's more than our fantasy league trophy.
Just a little.
A little bit, yeah.
A couple extra zeros in there.
Super Bowl 31 was won by Green Bay over New England. 32 and 33 were both won by the Denver Broncos over the Packers and then the Falcons, and that was John Elway's swan song. Super Bowl number 34, St. Louis beat Tennessee. Man, it's hard to look at Tennessee now and think that they were ever in anything.
Well, they lost.
They did lose, and now there's no more St. Louis Rams.
That's true.
Back to the
LA
Rams.
Los Angeles Rams. That's be weird to say.
Number 35, the Baltimore Ravens just crushed the New York Giants 34-7. Number 36, here are the Patriots again, beating St. Louis 20-17. Do you know all of the Patriots Super Bowl wins are by one score? In fact, they may all be by 3 points.
Yeah, and the last probably 5 were by Adam Vinatieri
Yeah.
or a kicker.
Tampa Bay, with John Chucky Gruden coaching, tore up the Oakland Raiders, and you know that had to feel good for him because he had been at Oakland.
And
he
that
went
was at Qualcomm Stadium where the now LA what you call it, the L.A. It's like I said, it's hard to say their name now.
Oh, have you seen?
LA
So, by the way,
Rams.
have you seen the plans on this new stadium that's going to be built in L.A.?
They are building.
It's going to make Jerry World look like Yes,
and
look
the
like
Rams get to go there.
Yes, whoever. Yes,
No.
Yes. It's yes.
They're going to
yes.
regret that
Why?
because the Rams have a fan. They are the worst money making
people will go to see this stadium just like people go to see Jerry World. Who goes? Tell me this: who's going to see the Cowboys now?
A lot of people.
No, they're going to see the stadium.
I promise you, more people go to see the Cowboys than people go to see the L.A. Rams.
They'll go see the stadium for a while. They will.
Okay.
All right. So now New England 2 in a row and both by 3 points. One over Carolina. Look at that. Could this be a repeat? And then another one over the Philadelphia Eagles.
That was back in 2004, and that was a good game.
And Super Bowl extra large. The Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Seattle Seahawks 21-10.
Tell us about that one, you Steelers fan. You?
That's the one where Jerome Bettis, the bus, played. He was playing for the Steelers. He was a running back. It's like a 280-pound bruiser. I mean, yeah, he was.
What's he doing now?
Well, I actually think he might be on TV or I don't know, but I mean, he wasn't a speedster at that point in his career. But if you had 4th and 1. You were going to give it to the bus, and they were going to get it done. So
sounds like you could have 4th and 10 still.
Well, what we will do is we will, in our sports short, which is going to come up in a couple of weeks, we'll hit pretty much all Super Bowl stuff. Although something will probably happen between now and then that we want to talk about. But we will go over the last 9 that have already been played. We'll talk about the upcoming one. And it will.
And when we talk about that, we'll be talking about how Denver is playing Arizona.
Or not.
Okay, so moving on to new coach hires. So we have a couple of new hires. We have 5 new hires, and then we have a couple that kind of hired within.
Yeah. Well, we'll just start. I'm just going to start as the way we have them written down. First of all, San Francisco is going with Chip Kelly. I'm on record as saying, A, that I didn't think Chip Kelly would get hired, and B, that if he did, I didn't think it was going to work out that well. Obviously, he has been hired, but we'll see how it works out.
And your main reason for that is what
his players quit on him. They were not buying what he was selling, and to me, if
that's what a head coach's job
that's what a head coach's job is, and he failed at that miserably. I don't really care about the X's and O's if your players if you can't get them on board with what you're doing. He clearly did not. I think he will probably need to read a couple of books about how to win friends and influence people if he's going to be more successful at San Francisco than he was at Philadelphia.
Okay, so I think it's an okay hire. I said he was going to get picked up by one of these teams that needed somebody, and what do you know? San Francisco got him.
Of course, they have that front office has a history of bonehead moves.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
You're right.
We'll see.
Right. I mean,
speaking of a history of bonehead moves, Cleveland, Brown, but all accounts are the hire of Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, this guy has been everywhere.
Cincinnati Bengals offensive coordinator of late. He had one stint with the Oakland Raiders where I think he might have gone 8-8, and he got fired after 1 year. Al Davis was still alive at the time. God only knows what was going through his head, if anything. But the consensus is that Cleveland at least has a solid head coach now. But I did read that Hugh Jackson said, if I'm coming on board, we're done with Johnny Manziel. And they said, fine.
Good for him.
Yeah, I agree.
So now
Good
Johnny
for him.
Manziel's going to go to Dallas? Is that still?
I hope so. God, I hope so.
Yeah, this guy's been everywhere. He's he's only 50. I think I see good things coming out of this little. You had a little thing where it was showing good or bad picks. What did it rate this guy? Like grades? A, B, C, D?
Good. I mean, yeah. I like an A.
I'd give it a B.
Yeah.
Add-on,
just because it's Cleveland and they haven't done anything since they became a franchise again in 1999, I'm going to say it's not working well. But that's just because it's Cleveland. Good luck to Hugh Jackson.
You just screw Cleveland.
They've screwed themselves.
Good point. Let's talk about Dirk Coder, who we talked about last week, right?
A recent show. It might not have been just last week, but this is why they got rid of Lovie Smith, because
Yes.
they wanted to promote their offensive coordinator to head coach. I still say Lovie Smith was the bird in the hand, and this is
Yeah,
the two in the bush.
I mean, this guy was obviously a good offensive coordinator. He did very well in Boise State. He did good in Arizona State, and now he's,
Well, he was
OC.
also with the Falcons and
Yeah,
worked with
the
Matt
Falcons.
Ryan there for a while.
Actually,
And
the picture
it was,
I pulled up, I was confused because I saw, it's Falcons. And I was like, wait, this is Dirk Coder, right? How do you say it? Coder? Co-eater?
welcome back, Cotter.
Cotter.
No, I don't
let's
know.
do Cotter.
Okay, welcome back, Dirk Cotter. So anyway, he promoted from within. Chip Kelly was outside. Hugh Jackson was outside. Dirk Cotter promoted from within.
And Lovie Smith hadn't fallen anywhere yet, has he?
No, and I don't know if there are any openings left.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. So,
Huh.
Tampa Bay. No, yes. Philadelphia. Doug Peterson. Pederson.
Yes, not Peterson like Andre.
Yes.
Is there an Andre?
I don't know.
This guy, he doesn't have a big coaching. I mean, he's he's 47 as a player. He was at Green Bay, Miami, New York, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Green Bay again. But as a coach, he's been Philadelphia Eagles coordinator, quarterbacks coach in the Eagles, offensive coordinator in Kansas City, and now he's Philadelphia. So not a big
Not a great pedigree. I don't. It doesn't look like, and just not a boatload of experience. He has spent the last 3 seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs as their offensive coordinator. Do you notice a theme in these hires? Offensive-minded, offensive coordinators, quarterback coaches. It's all about offense, yet defense wins championships. Just noting, these are the teams making these hires are teams that haven't been doing things well. That's why they're making these hires. So that makes me wonder if they're good hires.
When I did a quick little wiki search for this guy, who are we talking about? Doug Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it popped up said?
What?
Served as backup to Brett Favre.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that popped up.
Yeah.
You don't want to be known as that guy.
Well, he's not anymore.
Well, that's the first thing that popped up when I Googled him.
Well, he's head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles.
And like you've said before, that's a rough crowd to. You got to stay on their good side.
You can't stay on the fan of Philadelphia's
can't?
good side. You just can't. It's impossible. It is
Well.
impossible. Adam Gase, Miami Dolphins' new head coach. Now, of course, the Dolphins fired their sitting coach early, and then they promoted I believe the tight ends coach.
Tight end coach, yeah.
To head coach, and now they've got Adam Gase, who's been the quarterback coach for the Bears for a while.
This guy got his start at LSU.
Did he?
Yeah, as a grad assistant in 2000, and in 2001 to 2, he was a recruiting assistant.
Oh,
So
this is pre-Les Miles.
Yes.
Yeah, so he may
So he
know
got
something.
all of his. It looks like most of his stuff was scouting in the NFL for a year, and then he moved up to offensive and quarterback coach and assistant and stuff. So now, like you said, he was at the Chicago Bears 2015, and now he is a head coach, I believe, for the first time.
Yes, definitely for the first time. Tennessee, during the year, they made Mike Mularkey their interim head coach, and here recently they have named him
I love that last name, Malarkey.
the full-time head coach. And
Ben McAdoo? McAdoo?
no, that's the Giants.
I thought that's who we were talking about.
Malarkey, Tennessee.
Yeah, that was within the inside hire, right?
Yeah, I mean, they went 2-7 with him as their interim head coach. 2-7. That's obviously not very good. Did they attribute that to the fact that their rookie quarterback spent a good bit of time hurt? I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith that the Tennessee Titans are going to be coming on strong with this hire. I just don't. But anything can happen. The New York Giants.
They got rid of an old guy and got a young guy.
I believe he is going to be. Well, yes, he's not the youngest, but he is young, and he's been the offensive coordinator there, so he, again, moving someone, promoting from within. Ben McAdoo,
What is
never been a head
XLV?
coach at any level.
What is XLV? 50.
45.
Yeah,
45.
he was a Super Bowl champion in that one, so I'm guessing he was playing then.
Mm-mm.
45. That was only 5 ago.
Yeah,
It says right here, career highlights, Super Bowl champion, 45. So
as a coach.
I'm guessing yes. What
Yeah.
was that?
Yeah.
Saints 45.
No.
That was forever ago, wasn't it?
He wasn't on the Saints staff.
It was right here. New Orleans Saints offensive quality control coordinator.
Quality control coordinator. What the hell
Man,
is a
they'll
quality
give up
control coordinator?
He maintained the air conditioning.
All right. Okay, so that's new coaches. My favorite guy floating around out there didn't land anywhere, at least not yet, and that's Lovie Smith. So
Okay, so going on to we really didn't know what to name this one other than Super Bowl quarterbacks and success in the NFL, something like that.
well, you sent this to me. You messaged this to me the other day because you were just kicking around ideas of things to talk about. And when I opened this up, I loved it. 12 of the last 13 Super Bowls have featured either Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or Ben Roethlisberger.
And the only one in between was 2012 Flacco and whoever was playing for the
Kaepernick.
49ers. Kaepernick. Yeah.
Kaepernick. What does this tell you?
Have a good quarterback?
Yeah. And what else does it tell you? Good quarterbacks are scarce. Great quarterbacks are scarce.
I would say a great quarterback, scarce or not, having one will get you to the Super Bowl a lot.
Having one gives you a damn good chance of getting to the Super Bowl.
And that's not counting if you got Tom Brady and Peyton Manning both have a chance to come this year. Or is that counting them?
Yes, one of them.
That's true.
Neither one of them have to. They could both lose. No, they can't. No, because
one of them's gonna be there.
Brady. Yeah, so either Brady or Manning will make it again. So
that's 12 of the last 13 then.
So it goes to show you that really good quarterbacks are very valuable.
Now, what makes them so good? Pocket. I don't see a runner in there.
There's not.
Now, the year Flacco was in there,
Kaepernick was in there.
But here's the thing: that was that year the Ravens ran that crazy fast no huddle where no one in the league could keep up. No one, and that's how they got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They were running that no huddle all year, and that's why Flacco's in there right now. But the rest of these guys are stand up, give me a good block, and I'll give you a great pass kind of guys. And is that what you need to base your team around?
I think it is. However, I'm willing to admit that we may be breaking the mold with a guy that's out there right now.
Cam?
Yeah. Because
this year's MVP, obviously.
Because he is such an athletic freak. He is a freak.
He throws on the run like he's in the pocket.
He throws on the run, but he is his running.
And he can take some hits, man.
He can take. He is so damn big and strong that yes, he can take hits. But I'll say this: I don't think he's going to have a 12 or 13 year career playing the way he plays. And all of these other guys have had at least that, if not more. I mean, Manning is pushing like 18 years now.
That sounds about right.
And Brady is just a couple behind that, and Big Ben is now on like his 12th or so.
Anyways, getting to, and so the youngest one here is Brady, and out of these three, right? Big Ben, Big Ben's younger?
Big Ben,
he's younger than Brady.
Yeah,
huh.
Yeah.
So Big Ben, who he's plenty injured, but he still has, he's in there 3 of the last 13.
Yeah, of course. Notice that he hasn't been in there since 2010, and he will not be in there this year. So it's kind of Anyway, I won't even get into
the reasons for that.
Yeah, the reasons for that. So for
but
a whole
definitely
different
they're the same type of quarterback. With here or there differences, but Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and Big Ben. if you can form a franchise around anyone like them, do it.
Do it. Yes. Yes.
Okay. We don't have any Mad Dashers sports related,
Right.
but we do have a bit of, I'm sure by the time this has come out, everyone in the world knows, an eagle has fallen.
An eagle has landed. Yeah.
Come on, we can't kid around. We can't
No, I know. It's just when you said eagle has, and I'm like, wow, has landed. Yeah, and we talked. You and I talked about
Glenn Frey.
We talked about the Eagles on our back in the summer. We did an American.
Yeah, they were your top rock.
Yes,
Out of the top 4, everyone who's ever put a song out, they're one of your top 4.
Well, American,
That's
American,
right.
and now one of them has passed away in Glenn Frey. And just wanted to mention it. We wanted to acknowledge it, and I did want to say this. I had a chance, and I think I even talked about it here on the show. I had a friend of mine who lives in my hometown of Shreveport, Louisiana, was going to the concert that was being held across the river in Bossier City. Had a ticket with my name on it, and I just, for a few reasons, I couldn't make it happen. Evan, it was the last show on the 2015 tour.
I could not believe it when you said that. You're like, they ended in July, and
they ended in Shreveport.
And yeah, that was their last show of that tour.
That was it. And that was, as it turns out, that was the last show the Eagles, as that
original group,
they will ever do.
Jeez, man. All right. Invent a time machine, go back in time.
Oh my God.
Tell yourself.
Yeah, because I remember saying, I just can't make it happen this time. I'll catch them next time. There won't be a next time.
Now, everything lives forever on the internet, so you can always just YouTube him. But it's nothing.
It's not like being there. And I saw him live twice in Atlanta, and it's by far the greatest rock concert I've ever seen. They give almost a 3-hour show. There's no opening act. There's a brief 10 or 15-minute intermission. They play their stuff. They play stuff from when they were out on their own. They played Glenn Frey's and Don Henley's and Joe Walsh's.
All their solo stuff?
Yeah, not all of it, but yeah, they
certainly
certain and the group stuff. And it's a great show, and I'm just thinking if I had seen that last show and if I were holding that ticket stub, I would keep it forever.
Oh, I thought you were about to say sell it on eBay or something.
No, hell no. No. But,
we don't want to really get into everything because the wiki page is pretty long.
Yeah. Yeah. And everybody knows who the Eagles are.
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
But we are going to do what we here at the Boomer and X Show do, and that's leave with the recently deceased, the music
one of their hits.
And I believe what you have done is you've picked, because he was the guitarist, you have picked certainly probably
Hotel California,
their greatest hit, and you've highlighted his part of it, right?
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and go out with that song. Go on our website, theboomerandxshow.com, and you can email us anytime at theboomerandxshow@yahoo.com. And hit us up on Twitter at boomerandxshow. And we're also on Facebook, and we're also on Instagram. So we're on all those things. Again, we're going to leave the show out with the Eagles, Hotel California. Enjoy. Well, John, I'm all out of words. How about you?
So long, Glenn. We'll miss you.
Champagne on ice, and she said, we are all just prisoners here of our own device. And in the master's chambers, they gathered for the feast. They stab it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast.